Hey guys, so it's a sad day for Potterheads and fans of old uh British Irish actors. Sir Michael Gambon, who everyone pretty much remembers as Dumbledore, has died. 82 years old. Um, I mean, obviously he's been in other things. Everyone's like, people are like, oh, he was in more than just Harry Potter. Yeah, we know he was in more than, but that's what he's most known for. I mean, it spanned over what, six movies. So, um, yeah, so Dumbledore for six movies. That's why so many generations of people know him. We've got, people like me who know who he is. We have the younger generation who knows who he is. The older generation knows he is just from Harry Potter. I mean, I seriously doubt the kids are going to be going back and watching episodes of The Singing Detective anytime soon. So, um, but he's had a long career. The stage play of Othello fell in like 1965. But he didn't really come big until like 1986 or so when he the Singing Detective. Um, Obviously, other things, notable things, Toys with Robin Williams, uh, The King's Speech, Sleepy Hollow with Johnny Depp. Actually, that cast alone, there was uh, Michael Gambon was in there, Johnny Depp, uh, Christopher Walken as the Headless Horseman. Um, wasn't Richard Griffith in that movie? I think so. Jeffrey Jones, I believe, was in the movie. Just a star-studded cast in that movie. Um, but yeah, but people know him more as Dumbledore, six movies, and more notably because he took over for Richard Harris after Harris died in 2002, because he was the first Dumbledore for the Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, but died in 2002, and we had Prisoner of Azkaban, and suddenly there's a new Dumbledore, and everyone's like, "What's going on? What's going on? Where's Richard Harris?" And it's like, "Oh, he died. We had to get a new Dumbledore. Couldn't just keep using him." I mean, the movie's based in a wizarding world, but even there, we don't really have the magic to bring people back from the dead. So, and if you do, you're a bad person. Bad things happen when you bring people back from the dead. But then you have already seen like, oh well, Richard Harris's was better at Dumbledore. You can't even compare them. They were two totally different personalities. You had like Richard Harris's Dumbledore is like very kind, old, wise, you know, guiding you, sort of like stuff like that. But then you have Michael Gambon's was very outspoken and joked a lot, and he had more range in the voice because again, Richard Harris was sick. So if you notice, he really didn't talk loud. You know, I think there was just the one moment, like the first movie or the second. I think both of them he has like one moment where he kind of shouts, and that's about it because he was old and he was sick and he couldn't do it. Um, but Michael Gambon's, you know, the humor with some of it that I don't think that Richard Harris could have done. The first one that comes to my mind is just it's such a simple line. It's such a simple thing, but it's so effective when he does it. When Harry and Hermione in Prisoner of Azkaban, they save Buckbeak, they save Sirius, they get back to actually no, I don't think they save Sirius. They save Buckbeak and then they have to kind of go back into their time to save Sirius. But they save Buckbeak. The day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. They run back and they see Dumbledore closing doors, and he turns around and says, "Well," and they're like, "We did, Professor." And he said, "Did what?" "Good night." It's just he knows, but he's so cheeky about it. They're all like, "We did it, Professor." And he's like, "Did what?" "Good night." It's only something that he could have done. Um, and it's sad. It really is. It's like you have all these great people who are just disappear. I mean, he's older, so obviously that's that plays a factor. And I think he died of pneumonia. Um, hang on. Yeah, I just looked up. It was a bout of pneumonia. Pneumonia with elderly man. It's no joke. No freaking joke. But it's sad, you know. Like I said, if you're a Potterhead and a fan of old British and Irish, I mean, he was Irish. He's born in a kind of Irish immigrant area, and but just like most of them, they grew up in hard times and they made something of themselves. You see that a lot with some of the, a lot of these older actors. Not like the newer ones, like, oh yeah, they were pretty much born into and raised and primed to be a celebrity. No, these guys had to go through hard times. I mean, the guy was 82, so you can imagine the times that he was growing up in. So they had to overcome a lot to get what they are. You see people, him, even American actors like Morgan Freeman, stuff like that. They had to deal with some real crap. They had to deal with some real crap to get what they are today. And they just, whether it be being an Irish immigrant in an area that's not that great, or Morgan Freeman, whoever, having to deal with that stuff back then, they overcame it. So, and I think that's what people admire most about these older actors. They also, a lot of them served in the military, whether it be the British military or the American, whatever. They served their countries. um J.R.R. Tolkien also served his country, and that's why J.R.R. Tolkien is a badass. There's no man in the world, no person in the world who could tear that man down. If that man was alive today, it's like, okay, who wants their ass handed to them next? Um, but yeah, Michael, it's a shame. It really is. You know, and if you kind of see interviews with him, or just the kind of like behind the scenes things with Harry Potter, and he, he just loved to do what he did, and especially he loved Dumbledore, and always smile on his face and making jokes and playing pranks. Um, Actually, I think I remember it was like a behind the scenes type thing, and it's in Prisoner of Azkaban, and it's when everyone's in the Great Hall and they're sleeping, and Dumbledore and Snape are walking around, and you know he did something. I can't remember what it was, but I know it's like, I think he pulled a prank on one of them. But and then you see Alan Rickman smile, and it's like, oh my god, he smiled, because you see him dressed as Snape and he smiles. It's like, did Snape just smile? But then that's another. It's like, we're losing. Look how many people from Harry Potter we've lost alone. You know, Richard Harris, the original Dumbledore, Alan Rickman, Snape, Robbie Coltrane, Hagrid, Michael Gambon, and I know there's a few others. I think some of the younger ones died. Um, some of the younger people died. Actually, hang on. Let me. I'm curious how many. All right, so there's Paul Grant, who played, Goblin. Alan Rickman, that guy was great, hilarious. Just Leslie Phillips, yeah, wow, 2022. Yeah, he was the voice of the Sorting Hat. Robbie, Richard Griffiths. Yeah, he was same thing. He was absolutely hilarious. You know, and he could, he was a larger man, and he could be so menacing and evil, but down, it's like he was like the what you would describe as like you know, the gentle giant. He's a big guy, more than one way, but obviously we don't hold that against him. But I think that's obviously what led to his death. But absolutely hilarious. And it was such a simple role, but in a Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean, when he was in Pirate, that was hilarious. It was such a simple role, and you really didn't see much of him again. But he was amazing. Richard Harris, and you could see he very much looks like Dumbledore. It's just like if he just let his hair and beard grow out, it was Dumbledore. Helen Yem, Narcissa Malfoy, just not too long ago. Vern Troyer. I mean, people. He played Griphook, but more people remember him as Mini-Me in Austin Powers. Yeah, Mr. Magic. Cornelius Fudge. John Hurt. That was I was upset so much about that. John Hurt was such an awesome person. You know, her awesome character. Not to mention the Doctor, the War Doctor, one of the most badass doctors that we've ever had. The Creature, Timothy Bateson. The Bloody Baron. Oh, that sucks. When did he die? The Bloody Baron. I don't know why he was there. The Bloody Baron was a terrible person. I mean, wasn't he the one who like killed Helena Ravenclaw? He was a terrible. Why did they allow him to stay in that school? 86. Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, Barbie. Yeah. Was stabbed outside of. Oh wow, 2008. Yeah, Belby. Oh no, one of the paintings. Paul Ritter. Eldred Warple. Oh wow, Fenrir. That dude was creepy and menacing completely. 2014, he was 50. Wow. Peter Cartwright, Alpheus Doge. God, she was so creepy. I mean, mainly because it was Nagini, and but when she had, you saw her teeth, it was like becoming like Fang. It's just so creepy. Alfred Burke, yeah, Armando Dippet, headmaster Armando Dippet. Oh yeah, nearly there, nearly there. Yeah, Spriggs, and then we've got Michael Gambon to add to this list. So just in with Harry Potter alone, and this was from March. Um, yeah, it's a shame. You know, it's multi-generational type guy. Like I said, you know, the older people know who he is. You know, people like my parents would know who he is. I know who he is. If I had a child right now, they would know who he is. Just the guy, just multi-generational. Just, I mean, I'm glad that there's not going to be really any more Harry Potter movies because there's no way in hell they'd be able to replace him. I mean, people thought it was hard enough to replace Richard Harris, but Michael Gambon being as Dumbledore for so long, he just brought something to that role, and just it's a good thing it ended when it did because I can't imagine anyone else as Dumbledore. I don't care what people. Oh, you no, no. Michael Gambon was Dumbledore, but obviously condolences to the friends and family. No matter what you think of the person, just be kind. You know, send your condolences and all that. Say your kind words and just leave it be. You know, don't harass him just because you didn't like something he said 50 years ago. He was a human just like everyone else. So just be kind. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.